Hey everyone, welcome into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Blake O'Rourke, and coming up in today's show, we've got a Battle Mountain-filled show, specifically Battle Mountain Boys Soccer, who is headed by their coach, who has been there for 30-plus years. We're going to be sitting down with him, as well as a couple of the young, talented players that are coming up. 2 sophomores, as well as a returning junior. It's going to be a young team, but it's going to be a very, very talented team as well, and we are very excited to look a little bit more into it in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Scoreboard. Hey everyone, right now we are hanging out with Coach David Cope out of Battle Mountain High School, the soccer coach. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I just found out right now, but you have been the head coach for 30 years over at Battle Mountain High School. That's an unbelievable feat.
Yeah, well, I don't know about feat, but it's a life's work. You know, it's been a passion. And every time you think about, oh, maybe it's time to move on, there's some freshman that you're like, oh, I want to see this kid play. I want to see him graduate. And so it's just been a really gratifying way to spend my adult life.
Could you talk a little bit about your love for the game? How did you find soccer, and what has it been like being a coach for this long, and also I'm assuming a player as well?
Yeah, well, I was a child of immigrants. My parents came over from the UK in the early 70s, and I just started playing, and my dad, because of his accent, was roped into coaching, and then you know, it just became a family thing for us, you know. And my brother played, and my dad had different roles as like a club president, as a coach, as different things. And then I played in high school in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Won a state championship there. Played in college at Union College in upstate New York. And then coming out of college, I had worked various camps and been an assistant coach to a couple of really good coaches back east. And so I came out here for the skiing and the outdoors life, and as soon as a job opened up at Battle Mountain that I could stay here in this community, but also continue my passion for coaching, that was a perfect fit, you know.
Was there a specific moment in your life where you knew, I want to be a coach?
Yeah, I think on all the teams that I played on, I always felt like I could do it better. I could organize this thing, I could, you know. And so I was always intrigued by, you know, the puzzle pieces of putting a team together and where to play different players and that sort of thing. So,
have you found that you were a better player or a better coach?
I was a distinctly average player, decent touch, but I really enjoyed the continual learning process of coaching, and just picking up new things and stealing ideas and the personalities. You know, after a while, the X's and O's kind of become less important, and it's putting together the personalities and seeing who my leaders are and who the players are that fit well together, and that's really the challenge.
Speaking of that, let's get into this season a little bit. You start this season in just a couple of days, is that correct?
Yeah, we start on Monday, so we're really excited.
Who are some of these new names? I know you lost a lot of big name seniors this past year.
We did. We have, you know, we made it to the semifinal last year. We had a great season, and we had a huge senior class. And so the challenge last season was keeping all these seniors happy. There was just so many of them, they weren't all going to start. And so the challenge was to keep them all together and unified and moving forward. And we did that, I thought, really well. The challenge this season is to incorporate a whole bunch of new faces. And we won't necessarily be young, but we'll be relatively inexperienced. And so we're really excited. Some of the guys that are here tonight, you know, we're going to be strong defensively. And so Danny Sanchez, who's here, and Daniel Becerra, they are really strong defenders. We feel like that's going to be our calling card, is we're going to be difficult to score on. And then Johnny Espinoza here, we see him playing out maybe outside back and getting forward. That's kind of a trademark of Battle Mountain Soccer, is how we utilize our outside backs in the attack. So we're excited.
Yeah, as a coach, what would you say are some of the benefits of having a new, younger team with new faces versus a team that has a lot of miles on them?
Yeah, well, we know coming in this August that there's going to be a huge amount of competition for playing time. And so we expect the practices to be really competitive, and we expect the players to be really giving it their all, because there's so much opportunity out there. And whether a player is in 9th grade or 12th grade, they're going to be on the same footing competing for a spot. So we usually get really good numbers, and the practices this August will be very, very competitive.
I wanted to bring up a specific stat that I thought was very interesting. You only had 19 goals scored against you this past year, so your defense is kind of your bread and butter as of last season.
Yeah.
This season, it's going to be similar. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. You know, the players that we do bring back tend to be defenders, and we hope to be a really well-organized side, difficult to beat, and then ready to explode offensively when we need to.
I know one of the big key presences on a soccer field is obviously the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You lost your goalkeeper this past year. Is there a new face, a new name that's going to be taking care of that side of the ball?
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to our goalkeeper coach, Jim Glendenning, who does a great job. And we've had consistently this summer 5 kids coming out who will all hope to compete for that number 1 jersey. So we have a stable of goalkeepers. They all look competent and they all look athletic. And it'll be really interesting to see which one of them rises to the top.
This season is going to be a different one than maybe you're used to, but maybe not because you have so much experience. Can you remember the last time you maybe have a team this young?
Yeah, it goes back a little ways because we've had some really big senior classes. So I can't remember a specific team that was this young. Maybe the team we won state in 2012, and that following year we were younger, and we still made it back to the quarterfinal. So just being young doesn't necessarily mean that you can't achieve. You
Absolutely.
know, and so we're really excited about this group. We kind of see this group as a 2 or 3 year project, and you know, we have high hopes. You know, the thing about coaching is it's different every single year when you're coaching at the scholastic level, because just you should have a good amount of seniors every year. That means kids are enthusiastic. That means you have a good program. And so there's a saying that says, a man never steps in the same river twice, because he's not the same man and it's not the same river, you know, and I believe that about coaching. It's just every year is a new challenge.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the new faces. I know there's some new freshmen on the team, some new sophomores, some people who maybe we're not super acclimated to. Who are some of the new names that you are looking forward to?
Well, we had a really successful JV program, and I have 2 great JV coaches in Cameron and Joel. And so the players that we expect to contribute this year on varsity, we've seen them play on the JV last year. We've seen them play with their club teams. And so a kid like Daniel Sanchez, who's standing over there, he's ready to step in as a varsity center back, you know. We're excited to see a player like Alexis Dozel step up and contribute more offensively. He got a lot of playing time last year. We expect to see, you know, players like Diego Rodriguez and Johnny Espinoza over there, and those guys step up, and Jack Ruiz, and it's just Arturo Aguilar. There's a group of kids who've been sophomores and juniors that are now ready. They've been waiting their turn patiently, and they've been training, and now they're ready to step in and become starters.
Last year, you were 7-1 in league, the first place team in league. Do you think that you can repeat that task this year?
Yeah, we've been successful in this league. And it won't be easy. You know, there are teams in our league that have really shown improvement and that sort of thing. And Steamboat last year beat us once, and we beat them once. So that will be a competitive game. And so, you know, the first step towards playoffs is always to win the league. You know, that gives you a guaranteed berth. It usually gives you a good seed. And so our goal is to win the league. We've also constructed an out-of-league schedule that is incredibly competitive. And so we think that that's what contributed to our playoff success last year. You know, the year before we had gone undefeated in league, but because of COVID, we weren't allowed to play non-league games. And so we got into the playoffs and we underachieved. And so this past season, I think our non-league schedule really made us battle tested. And a great example of that is TCA, you know, the Classical Academy in Colorado Springs. We lost to them in our last game of the year in non-league, and then we beat them 4-0 in the playoffs. So we're hoping, again, we've got this great non-league schedule. We start out with some non-league games, and we're hoping that will bring the group together quickly.
Over your years, have you found that strength of schedule is one of the most important things, finding those out-of-league teams to compete against so that they have a couple tougher looks so that when they come and face easier competition, it's a walk in the park?
Yeah, and there's an art to creating a schedule, you know. You don't want to overwhelm your team, and just take on too many losses and lose confidence. But you also want your team to be challenged and tested. And certainly we've got plenty of teams around the state who want to play us. They enjoy the trip up here to the mountains. They enjoy the competition they get from our team, and we feel like the boys conduct themselves in a classy way. So we're a good opponent for people, and we're a desirable opponent.
Yeah. So last question for me, I just wanted to ask. I ask every coach who's been doing this for 10 years plus, why do you keep coaching?
Yeah, for me, it's about the 3 Ps: people, place, and purpose. I love the people I work with, the coaching staff that I have put together. The administration is so supportive of our sport, and then the boys are great, and it's so fun to be around them every day. Whenever the season ends, that's what we miss the most, is just seeing the boys every day. And as I get older, that becomes maybe the most important thing, more so than the wins and losses. We've won a lot of games over the years, but just being around the group is really valuable. And so that's what keeps me coming back, And then place, I love living here. My wife and I have settled here. She has a small business, and we've just loved living in Eagle County, and it's been a great place to raise our kids. And then the purpose, and we feel like through this game we can transform lives. Sometimes the game is the one thing that hooks a kid into doing well in school. Sometimes the lifelong friendships that they create with each other. And so our purpose is just to help the players become the best version of themselves that they can. And it's so rewarding. Like last year at our semifinal game down in Parker, Colorado, we had 10, 12 alumni coming up after the game, talking to the boys, taking a picture. And that's so rewarding, is to see the players become men and see them have their own families and grow up, and some of them coaching, and that's been a great thing.
We can't wait for this season to start. When exactly does it start again, really
So
quick?
Monday is the first day of preseason.
Okay.
And then we have a scrimmage on Saturday, and then the first actual game is home on August 20th against Denver East. And last year we tied Denver East after overtime. They're a 5A school. It's a great rivalry that we're just starting to build. We played them on the girls' side and lost 1-0 in overtime, tied them on the boys' side, and so we're really looking forward to Denver East again.
Well, Coach, we are really looking forward to the season. We can't wait to see all this play out in just the next couple of weeks here. Thank you so much. And
thank you. We love the Scoreboard show. It's great. So thank you for doing that.
Of course. We are so happy to be able to do it. We love doing it for you. We will be right back right after this. Hey everyone, right now we are joined by the Battle Mountain Boys varsity soccer team. We're here with Daniel, Danny, Jonathan, as well as head coach Dave Cope once again. Thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate it. I want to kick things off and just have each of you introduce your name and then also what school year you're going into, what you're going to be.
All right, well, I'm Daniel Becerro. I'm an upcoming junior this year. I'm really looking forward to the season. I feel like it's going to be good for us. Yeah, that's me.
Perfect.
I'm Danny Sanchez, or Daniel. I'm going to be a sophomore this year, and for me, it's going to be my first year as a varsity starter or player, and it's going to be really fun.
My name is Jonathan Espinoza. I'm an upcoming sophomore. I think this season is going to be really, really hard for us, but also really fun. I think it's going to be a great year.
So Jonathan, I want to specifically ask you, you kind of mentioned the difficulties that you think coming into this season. As much as you're excited, it's still going to be some difficult hurdles to overcome. What are you specifically maybe a little worried about, or maybe some of the things that are going to be challenging this year?
I think that since a lot of our seniors have left and there's a lot of upcoming faces and not very experienced, and there's not that much players coming in to play with us, so I think it's going to be hard to get to know each other and play with each other.
Yeah, what has it been like so far, Danny, to play with these teams, play with these different players, as there are a lot of younger faces on the team?
I mean, it's been interesting because some kids you can right away tell that they want to play, they want to be on the team, and some kids you can see that they're kind of slacking and all. So right away you can get along with the kids that want to play because they're like you, they're competitive, and I think it's gonna be a good year because those kids, I think like us, we're stepping up, and once they see all of us that have been here step up, I think they can step up too.
And then I wanted to ask you, as you're kind of a leader on this team, as you're the junior that's coming back onto the
Yeah.
team, who are you specifically looking forward to? Or maybe I should say, what about this team are you looking forward to from the looks of these two sophomores, from the looks of all the younger players?
I'm looking to see how they play with each other. I'm really interested how this season's gonna play out. I really feel like it's gonna be a really challenging season for us, but I feel like that's gonna like better ourselves for playoffs, for league and everything. But I'm really hoping to see these two just start improving, start getting to know each other and stuff. I also want to see some of the seniors that we have right now, like Arturo Aguilar, Edwin Montez, who are Diego Rodriguez. I just want to see all those faces like step up, try to be leaders in their own way. Just hopefully we have a great season.
Coach, some of the intangibles here on the couch, what are some of the things that each of these players brings to the field?
Well, I think Daniel Becerra just brought up a great point, is that one of the strengths of our program is the program guys. And we always refer to program guys, and those are the guys who are 4-year players, maybe 1-year starters. And they come through and they work hard and they push the team and they make appearances on the varsity, and then they get that 1 year to be a starter. And once they step in for that 1 year, their role is kind of the unsung hero. And so we have so many guys like that going through the history of our program. We can just name them, as these guys that were 4-year players, 1-year starters. And so I think we'll have a number of those guys this year, some of the seniors that Danny just mentioned. And that's fun. It's really fun to see who will emerge, who's really been putting in the time away from the lights, away from the field, away from the crowds, and now is ready for their moment.
Yeah, Jonathan, I wanted to ask you, what have you specifically been up to this summer to keep up your training, getting ready for this fall season?
I've been waking up early to go train, and a couple of friends, we've been doing lots of drills. We've been training for like 2 hours every day in the mornings, and we've been training for a couple months now. So we put in the work to see our improvement, and I think a lot of us have improved a lot. So I think it's going to be really good.
What do you think are some of the improvements that you've made in your game specifically?
I think some of the improvements that I've made are adapting to this sort of new game, fast paced. You don't necessarily get to think about what you're doing. You kind of have to just do it. Like, you have to get it right, So I think I've been able to just better my defensive game, putting my head up, thinking about what I'm going to do next, sort of that connecting with the offensive players, because it's important to have that connection on the field. That way you guys can just have that link that a good team needs.
Are you worried at all about the speed of the game? It is going to be a little bit of an adjustment, I would assume.
I don't think I'm necessarily worried. It's more of how I adapt to it. I've been playing club. Me and Johnny have, Jonathan. We've been playing club, and we've been playing with the older guys, fast paced, and it's been really fun actually. Not that much difficulty, but it's been really fun to have mentors like Daniel, Dozo, Edwin to really show you, lead you, show you where you need to improve. Coaches like Cope and Cam and Joel, where they can really guide you so you can become that player that you're expected to be.
Yeah. Daniel, what are some ways that you've had to step up in terms of leadership?
I really feel like last year I kind of saw like some of our leaders like showing some leadership. So I feel like I got some qualities from them because we had a lot of seniors. Like we had really too much seniors, but I feel like I got those qualities just from like being able to adapt from a young age, like sophomore starter. I feel like that got me really like my confidence level up. I feel like that made my like leadership skills go up also. I feel like a lot of it comes from like the people around me as well. There's one of my close friends. His name is Luis Castillo. He was a really good leader to me. I really look up to him. I feel like I got a lot of the qualities from him because he's just like one of my close friends, and he's like someone I look up to.
Yeah. Coach, I specifically kind of noticed a theme here of team chemistry, how important that is and how important that's going to be for this season. How do you feel like the team chemistry is looking right now, and how do you think it'll grow over this season?
Yeah, so we've been playing, we have optional practices through the summer, starting after July 4th, and we've had great numbers and great turnout for that. And then we try to put the potential first group together a lot, and it's really exciting. These are the guys who've been toiling away in the shadows, and these are guys who are ready to step up. And so I feel like the chemistry is really strong. There's maybe less egos than on a previous teams we've had, and more willingness to just do whatever it takes. A lot of times when I've been asking players what their best position is, a lot of them answer wherever I'm needed. I'm happy to be on the field, and I'm not worried about what position I end up playing. So
I wanted to ask you, Danny, what are some of the things that you specifically love about the game of soccer? Why do you play it? What is it about it that you love?
I've been playing it since I was 4 years old. It's just really fun playing. I love how it works, the whole game, tactically, all those plays. When coaches tell me plays or formations, I get excited because it's new ways to play the game, and the one thing that I love about playing is teammates, the team, getting along with the team, because once your team clicks, it's really fun playing around those other teams. It just makes it easier to play because you have those guys that you've been playing for a while with, and it's really fun playing with those guys.
Yeah. Is there any specific player that you look up to? Any specific player who you've tried to kind of follow your game after?
I've been actually watching a lot of games from last season, and watching Danny play, how he defends. It's been just focusing on his plays, I really look up to that because it's kind of how I want to play, a leader, having a leader like that to lead you into this new season is really helpful.
Danny, the last thing that I wanted to ask you specifically was for this team, the beginning of the season is really close.
Yeah.
What are some things, or I want to ask you kind of a final prediction of this year. Who are you, or what do you think this team's ceiling is, I should say?
I feel like these first couple games are going to be challenge for us. We'll probably take a couple losses in the first 2 games maybe, but then I feel like we'll really bounce back from that. I feel like that's what we did last season. We had our first 2 games, we lost both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was underestimating us. We came back, we made semifinals. I feel like we can definitely do that again this year, even with the younger team. I feel like we can definitely win league again. I feel like we can definitely make it far in playoffs. I feel like we can definitely make semifinals and maybe even finals. We just the whole team has to believe that themselves,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, lost the first 2 preseason games, and then I think you went on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Lost a couple more, and then you went on another big streak. So this team is very, very much so accustomed to, having a slow start to the season and then really, really picking up later on in the season. So very much so looking forward to it. Thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Scoreboard. We will be right back here next time with a whole bunch of new sports and a whole bunch of new people to talk to. As the school year continues to come into play, we cannot wait to continue to cover as much as we possibly can here in Vail Valley. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you all next time.